What happens when a Minecraft world becomes a cult? That's the question that Chain World was built to answer, and its story is filled with mystery, lies, and drama. But 10 years ago, the game suddenly vanished, along with the last person that played it. Let me tell you the story of Chain World and the cult inside of Minecraft. Let's take it back to 2011. It was the golden days of Minecraft, and while Mojang was keeping busy in Sweden, across the world in San Francisco, thousands of developers had gathered for something very special, the annual Game Design Challenge. And this year, there were some heavy hitters on the stage. Names like John Romero, the guy that made Doom, or Genova Chen, the man behind Journey. But among these two gaming legends was a name you might not have heard before: Jason Rohrer. Jason was a strange guy. At the time, he was living off the grid in the deserts of New Mexico, working on little indie game projects like Passage, where you run around a maze for 5 minutes as you slowly age to death. Very fun, highly recommend. But that eccentricity made him a perfect fit for this year's Game Design Challenge. The concept was to create an entire religion, even a cult, using video games. And while John Romero and Genova Chen put up a good fight, Jason Rohrer stole the show with Chain World. So, what is Chain World? Well, at its core, it's just a simple Minecraft world. Nothing special about that. What matters is how you play it. Here were the rules. First, you open the game. Second, you join the world. Then, aside from placing signs, you can do anything you want. Build, destroy, mine, kill, it's your world to rule. But you only get one life, one chance to make your mark on Chain World. When you die, it's game over. You quit the game, save the world, close Minecraft for the last time. And here's where things get interesting. Chain World exists entirely on a single sacred USB stick, and when your turn is over, it's your responsibility to pass on the torch to someone who would keep Chain World alive, or choose to end it. Once you've found your heir, your turn is over. You never talk about what you've seen, and you never play again. The moment that Rohrer finished reading these rules, a man with a cane hobbled up to the stage, and in front of thousands, he grabbed the USB stick and left. The cult of Chain World had begun. As soon as the conference ended, the internet exploded with questions. What did the world look like? Where was it now? And who was the mysterious man that now held the keys to Chain World? For that last question, it wouldn't take long to get the answer. The new priest of Chain World was a man named Jia Ji. Mr. Ji was, like everyone else at the conference, a small game developer. He had worked on MMOs and exercise games in the past, but these days his focus was on charity. And now, with all eyes on him, he had an idea. What if he sold access to Chain World and donated the money? Of course, he couldn't do that. Jason Rohrer had already made the rules. Ji would quietly play the world until he was finished, then choose a successor who would do the same thing, on and on until the end of time. But if Jia Ji wanted to break those rules, who could stop him? 7 days after Chain World was revealed, Jia Ji listed the sacred USB stick up for auction on eBay, promising to donate all the funds to charity. Soon after, he opened chainworld.org, where he essentially sold spots in line to play the game. Chain World was going worldwide. The price climbed higher and higher every day, and after a week, the auction had finally closed at $3,300. The winner? An anonymous buyer going by the nickname Positional Superco. Over on Twitter, a mysterious profile with the same name had just been opened, posting cryptic tweets and poetic thoughts. For months, they would keep up the act, even designing their own new rules for Chain World and searching for the next leader, until, one day, PSK went silent. 5 years later, they made a simple announcement. The sacred USB stick had moved on, and for the last decade, Chain World has been lost. So, what happened to Chain World? The truth is, nobody knows. The easy answer would be to say that somewhere in the world, Chain World's sacred memory drive is rotting away, forgotten in the back of a desk drawer. But it's not actually that simple. let's rewind back to 2011 when Jia Ji had just got his hands on Chain World. You already know about the promises he made in the auction he opened up on eBay, but there's another part to that story. See, when Jia Ji made the bold choice to break the rules and sell Chain World, not everyone was on board. After all, he had taken the original vision and thrown it in the trash for money. Charity money, but still. That was his right, but a lot of people didn't think so. Hate comments, emails, and even death threats came pouring in, all over a flash drive with a simple Minecraft world on it. Frankly, that's ridiculous, and most people recognize that. But instead of just ignoring them, Jia Ji decided to do a little trolling of his own. When the Chain World auction ended, Ji made a big announcement that Chain World had now moved on to the winner. After all, raising $3,300 for charity is no small feat. But in that email, he also shared 3 short videos. The first 2 paint a similar story. We can see Ji in the middle of a jungle, equipped with nothing but a laptop. He tells us he's in Hawaii, in a sanctuary called Peli Aina that's far off the beaten path. With the Chain World USB tied in a pendant around his neck, he climbs a tall banyan tree before the video cuts out. In the second video, Ji is in a wooden hut with a man he calls the Temple Guardian. He takes off the pendant, tells the man to guard it from those who aren't worthy, places Chain World in the man's palm, and the video ends. If these videos are true, they tell a very different story than the one we see online. Chain World never went to some mysterious woman on Twitter, it was with a man deep inside the heart of Hawaii. But there's still one more video, and this time I'll let Ji do the talking.
Okay, so here I am at Volcano Park with the Chain World flash drive. This thing's caused me a lot of grief, so I'm gonna take Jonathan's suggestion and get rid of it now. You can see there's a active volcano right there. I'm pretty sure I can get this into the lava. 1, 2, 3. Hey. So if you guys want the Chain World flash drive, it's right down there in the active volcano. Okay, bye guys, thanks.
So now, we don't know what to believe. On one hand, we have a woman on Twitter claiming she bought Chain World on auction, kept it for 5 years, and passed it on. Then, we have 2 videos seeming to show Ji traveling to Hawaii to give Chain World to a Temple Guardian, who we had never seen before or since. And if the last video is true, then that flash drive could be nothing more than a pile of ash sitting on the edge of an active volcano. Even today, 15 years later, nobody really knows what happened to Chain World, and I think that's exactly what they wanted. Maybe it's destroyed, maybe it's lost forever, or maybe it's still out there, waiting for the next person brave enough to play. Thanks for watching, and have a good one. Peace.